November 15th, 2009. VGN Radio presents Midwest Wasteland with your hosts, Kevin Baird,
Brian Baird,
Nazis,
Jason Corber,
and Larry Mack.
Tonight's topic, unidentified flying objects. Okay, so...
my all-time low.
We have recording from east of the Rockies.
So, this week's episode is being met with much disdain.
My God.
From the crew.
We covered that like in the Halloween episode because I
tell us, Kevin. What did you see?
Because nobody really wants to talk about UFOs. No one's seen any, and apparently the crew doesn't believe them. So let's go around real quick and just ask the crew. Brian,
No.
do you believe in UFOs?
I believe in Santa
aliens.
Claus.
Do you believe in aliens? Do you believe because there's obviously unidentified flying objects, but do you believe in aliens? And I don't mean illegal aliens, because Larry will get all fucking semantic on me.
God damn it!
So, you know.
Do I believe
space travelers who visit the planet Earth.
You know how I feel about aliens, man. They should be
What does our
purged.
audience?
That's why we're asking.
They should be purged. Purge the unclean. Xenos.
You see, D.
Do I believe in UFOs? I have never seen one, but I am not opposed to the possibility that there are alien forms of life out there, which probably look at us and just go, look at those guys.
Well, you should have heard him friggin' 5 minutes ago. There ain't no such thing. Whatever.
There are no such thing, but just because there are no such thing doesn't mean that they're not there.
I get you.
By definition, if there is no such thing, then that means it's not there.
No, it just means that I haven't seen it. That doesn't mean just because I believe it's not there does not mean that it's not there.
That's
Brian believes
different
is
than
what
there
it
is no such thing.
There is
Yes.
no such thing because I don't believe in it.
If there is no such thing, then it's not there.
It's just a non-winning battle, period.
It's the chicken or the egg or whatever the fuck.
Okay? I don't
Yeah.
believe it's there, but I don't believe it's there, but it might be there despite
You
my-
not believing it's there
This
is a
is
far cry
philosophy,
from
Brian.
I love it. This is what
it
the
not
show
being
is.
there.
Larry, knowledge is power. Hide it well.
So you got the
What
rooster,
is
you
this,
got
to
the
be-
chicken,
is
and
to
you
be
got the hen.
perceived now?
Ignorance is bliss. So there you go.
There are. I do not believe
True.
that they actually exist, but they could exist despite my
They do.
ignorance. Existing.
Okay.
Period.
See, I'm not like an atheist. I'm more like an agnostic. Okay, I don't think they exist, but if you show me it, then I guess I have no proof but to believe in it.
Okay, you've also now, in addition to completely
Proving that I
making
have no
yourself
concept of what
grand
atheism
high arbiter of reality, you've now completely misdefined agnostics.
Okay, we covered that.
That's next week's show. Keep it around.
We did religion. We're never doing it again.
Oh,
Not ever.
God. Glad I missed that show.
It was a hit with the fans, though, man.
If you say so.
All right, so, Cease, do you believe
Yes.
in UFOs? And when I just want to...
mean,
hold on one second. I just want to say for the record, because Larry will get all semantic on me, that when I say UFO, I mean space-traveling aliens for this show. Not...
As opposed to dimensional travel.
not just some stupid thing no one knows
Yeah,
we made yet.
Right. Not some fucking... Yeah.
Yeah, big, giant, nitpicking bastard that I am.
You will.
Dude,
You'll
what
fucking...
Kevin's trying to say, she doesn't want you to go off on a tangent about the political system in this country.
Because he
It deals
doesn't
with
want to eat
fucking
fucking
illegal
pizza
aliens
with
that come
green
across.
peppers on it. He's a
Because
nitpicky.
nobody cares.
All right, sorry, Don. Go ahead.
White face.
You know what? And it sounds. I never seen any. Obviously, and that all these TV shows and shit kind of drive me nuts. But when you see a caveman drawing of something like that, you gotta, obviously there's got to be something,
Nope.
And then the millions of like scenes, and I don't think everybody's fucking crazy, but there's a good possibility there too. So I don't know.
Dude, they show you those fucking caveman paintings and they turn it on its side and go, look, it's a spaceship. And then I bet you if you took that same picture and turned it on its other side, you'd be like, look, it's a volcano.
Wasn't asking you.
Okay, you had your turn, Brian.
Hey, and
now
there
you
were
have to
comments. There were comments made. So, sucketh my nut. This is what happens.
It's kind of like the big.
You know, on this show, you better be able to defend it because I'm going to fuck with you.
Hey, Brian.
I'm really, I'd like to believe it, but until I see it, no.
Brian, remember that time I let you wear my shorts? And you walked. No, never mind.
Oh yeah.
I know I give Johnny my shorts.
Yeah, I know.
Next time I see him, I'm gonna put my hands down his shorts so I can rub his ball.
Shit was funny.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking funny.
Jason.
Yes.
Do you or not?
Absolutely, I do. Here it comes. Yes.
It's because you come from another planet. It doesn't count. You know.
This is some damn good shit.
That's what that is. My first experience, I can't explain. I was a young child.
Hold on, don't tell it. Don't tell us that yet. I'm sorry.
Here we go. We
are going to get to that, but don't.
You're going to blow the whole load of our show.
Whitley Strieber has joined us today on BGN to tell us about his encounter.
You sure want to reveal it on this show?
Come on.
So you're going to be Christopher Walken in that fucking movie?
No. We're not talking about Donnie here, okay?
Larry?
Yes. There must be aliens because at some point in my life somebody did something to my ass that makes it bleed. No, oh, okay. Well, then maybe I don't believe in aliens. No, yeah, I do. Okay. I believe in it. I believe in aliens. I believe in UFOs, but I don't believe in most abduction stories, which are just hogwash.
Okay. For the record, I believe that it's two-handed coin with me. I believe that
a two-handed coin.
Well, a two-sided coin.
Kevin invented his own one.
It's so fucking big. It takes two. It's still metal. It takes two hands. That's awesome.
See, Kevin believes in them because he has built a lot of them.
Yeah. Go ahead, dude. Continue.
I personally own UFOs.
No, my thing is that either aliens created us, or they're not here.
I follow you on that part, Kevin. That we're not here just by God.
Well, I just don't think that. I don't believe that faster than light travel is possible. So therefore, I don't believe that spacefaring aliens could ever reach us. But if they were here before we were, then that's a possibility. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yes.
All right, so real quick,
the other side of the moon theory.
I'll go over one little show note. Next week, next week is Video Game News Radio, of course, everybody's second favorite show now. And right after Tumbling with Tumbleweed, basically. In 2 weeks, the show is going to be about things that are bullshit.
Things that make you go,
Oh, that show is just all about Brian, right there.
Christ. You know what? I don't want my...
What is that? Things that are bullshit.
My biography.
Do you have any idea how fucking long that show's going to go on for?
It's going to be you nothing but talking.
Each of the hosts
talking straight out.
Each of the hosts are supposed to bring. Of course, no one will do their homework, but each of the hosts are supposed to bring the 5 things that they think are complete bullshit.
We could do that randomly. Like we need.
I can just go to the farm and pick something up.
I'll open up my front door. I'll take one look out there.
Yes.
Yep. Got it.
Right outside your window,
As soon as Skype connects to me, there will be at least 5 things at that particular date and time that I'm convinced are bullshit. What homework do I need to do?
Just like,
dude, well, I'm living it every fucking day.
I can name 5 right now.
Yeah.
It's your 5 favorite things that are
shows
bullshit.
about UFOs.
Shows about
5 things you think are bullshit.
$5 foot.
blowing my Sunday on a fucking show.
You can already tell it's going to be a great show. So you'll definitely want to tune in.
Trying to answer questions and being mocked. That's bullshit.
In 2 weeks. But you only get 5, and then after that I'm going to silence your mic. So you better make it 5 good ones.
Okay, the 4 of us are going to have to get together and find a way to override Kevin's controls so he can't fuck the mic up.
Just go over there.
Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty hard to override the, Skynet on this show.
The phase inducer array.
Hell.
Okay, so
so realistically, if everybody shows up in 2 weeks, you act. What kind of time frame are you setting aside for 30 different ideas of things that are bullshit? if all of us bring 5. That'll take weeks.
It'll be a 10-hour show.
Yeah, it'll be like some History Channel thing on World War II.
You guys, first of all,
you're going to count down from 1.
You guys are notorious for not doing your homework, Larry.
What homework? I can we can't randomly bitch about 5 different things.
All right.
Yes, we can.
First one is things that are bullshit.
Pick 5.
Larry getting angry over nothing. Let's not worry about it. If we run out of time, then we'll run out of time.
That's a shtick. He has to.
Yeah.
No, we'll be fine.
I'm actually pretty happy-go-lucky.
All right. So, Brian, have you ever,
been abducted? No.
Have you ever seen a UFO?
Are you sure?
All right, man. There's been lights in the sky. Okay, and anytime when I was young, I used to look,
and then it started raining,
and be like, "Oh my God, what is that?" You know, but it was all explained to me. It was always explained.
Now, now let me ask you something though. Were you back in the day? Let me just say this: back in the day when Brian and I lived with our step siblings, there was an incident at the house. I was, of course, grounded and stuck. I was not allowed out.
I've heard this story.
I was not allowed outside.
Creature came in the room.
So I wasn't there.
He is today.
But all the other kids were outside, and they came inside, and some of them were crying because they had seen a UFO.
It was an alien.
Brian, were you there for that?
For what?
When everybody came in crying because there was the UFO outside.
I was outside when we saw that shit.
I wasn't. That's what I'm asking you to explain, but you went on some gay sex tangent on the show.
Well, you know.
Because that was on your mind, I guess. I don't know.
I heard your voice and you played that fucking Euro shit.
I was asking you a fucking question.
Right to that. Yeah, we were outside, and it was like a clear night back in the day when you could actually see the stars in Cleveland, you know, those 3 times a year where there's cloud cover just breaks. We can see fucking light, you know, that's not fucking purple or red. And so we're looking up at the nighttime sky, and, you know, we live fucking like right next to the goddamn airport. And, you know, if we start, you know, we're kids. We just start creeping each other out and shit. And all we fucking saw was like planes flying over our head, but all of a sudden you couldn't hear nothing. And of course I started feeding into the fucking, like, you know, let's freak everybody out shit. Like, oh my God, what is that? You know? And by the time we were done, fucking everybody got out, like, oh, that's UFOs. I was like, what, in my room? I'm like, I'm going to get blamed for this somehow.
Well, everything you believe, Kevin, is because of him.
I wasn't there. I was in the living room. Everybody came in crying, and I did have a large look of skepticism on my face, even at like 10.
No, dude, your face was like mine. You kept it straight and normal because if you looked skeptical, you were guilty.
Yeah.
Well, I wasn't outside, so I was allowed to look skeptical.
Sweet and Kool-Aid for you this week.
I should also point out that, like, when we lived in this step family, we had 2 other brothers, and basically they could muscle me and Brian to the ground and tie us into pretzels. So it wasn't just the fact that our stepmom would hit us or something. It would also be the threat of, like...
You saw a UFO, didn't you, damn it?
Right. A couple of guys that could just fuck you up.
No shit, man. Put on this mask and take a flashlight outside, pretend you're an alien. No, do it. All right, this is dumb. What'd you say? Nothing.
Kevin's grounded, stuck inside the house, and the stepbrothers throw an alien mask on Brian and lower him from the roof in front of Kevin's window. Brian's all crying.
There's China an alien, dude. They're gonna kick our ass. He's got the zany zappers blinking out his eyes. I couldn't do that in my house, dude. Someone would just be like,
Kevin starts shrieking and crying. Dude, Brian's all crying under the mask.
People in our house did not react well to any form of terror, okay? They didn't fucking do what they do in movies, just flee. Okay, they had attack. It'd be that moment Kevin's being lowered down the rope that my stepbrother picked up his phone and Kevin would be like, fuck. And all of a sudden, would have been like a fucking 90-pound pinata on a fucking rope, man. Because he'd have been dead.
It's no fun having older brothers in a house full of cool people. Because you can't, like, if your older brother's fucking with you, you can't really cry about it because then you'll get fucked with for the rest of your life.
Oh, yeah, it's forever.
So you basically have to take whatever kind of bullshit they're dealing. And our oldest had, like, 3 drawers of, like, fireworks. So it would just fire them at me in the front yard, like, repeatedly. There'd be, like, Roman candles and bottle rockets and shit coming out of the sky at me. And you can't really do anything about it. It was
endless, dude. The guy was a walking arsenal.
Right, you're just like, that's really funny, dude.
You had a fucking CO2 handgun. You'd be on the phone, and all of a sudden, like, you were in the laundry room because it was like the only place we wanted to go because it was no man's land. It was like mountains of filthy laundry, and all of a sudden, like, the door was like leaning open, and he'd have that crazy smile on his face, and he just like point that fucking CO2 gun at your ass, and whoever you were talking to had like a Band-Aid over their ear the next day because you were like,
It was a BB gun.
So, in any case, when it comes to
aliens, I wonder why you were so calm in middle school when people were giving you shit. Now I know.
I never saw UFO and stuff. So.
All right.
Holy Christ.
Cease?
How we got to this, I don't know. But
I remember the question. What the hell was it?
Have you ever actually seen a UFO?
Nope.
Okay, that was easy. Jason, have you seen a UFO? He's still
I've seen a UFO. I'm not going to say yes, I have, because, all right, it's an unidentified flying object. Yes, I have seen 3.
What did it look like?
The first occasion, when I was living in Ohio, I was probably like in 6th grade, 7th grade.
Nice, here we go.
And I was
one of these that's seen multiple ones.
No, but seriously.
It was airplane shaped, but...
No, it's not. It wasn't like... Dude, I remember this specifically. Dude,
like
from back then to now, it's one of the vivid memories that I have in my head.
Vagina flying to the air.
Jesus Christ. Now,
The
I'm laying in bed.
Seen him too? What the hell?
The big vagina.
It was round and red and said whammo on it.
Oh, God.
So I'm laying in bed.
Oh, man, what kind of story is this?
Not a Brian Baird story, Christ. Jesus
UFOs tend to be outside. What the hell
minutes.
you got going on?
Yeah, dude, we don't want to hear about that kind of UFO.
I woke up.
You're subtle, man.
And there were 2 of them dangling right over my face.
Here comes this
I
guy.
heard my roommate laughing.
Got up
Fire.
Oh, well, all right. Well, Jesus Christ, you're three-sorted.
All right, let the guy talk. Let the guy talk, man. He's on a cell phone. It's harder for him to defend himself.
All right, go ahead.
Jesus. I can't. I've just been Brianized. Just
You get used to it.
Go on, man. Go ahead. Tell your story. You were in bed.
The first one that I saw when I was a kid was in Parma. The way my bedroom was, I lived in a high-rise apartment complex, probably on the 12th floor. There were woods behind us, and my bed faced the window in my bedroom. And it was up. The window blinds were up. It was late. I saw a red light that came across the top of the tree line to the right, and it came across the other side of the window to the left, and then it came back again to the right, and it stopped in the middle, and then it went straight up. That freaked me out. Then, the second time was down here, live in Florida. I told us about it. I was like living in Orlando. I got MacDill Air Force Base by us. And I saw this, like, shadow in the sky. I was walking the dog. I was high as hell. Came up, saw this shadow. It was like I don't know, what's that? The latest X-Wing bomber thing that they have.
The stealth fighter.
Well,
any UFO stories that take place next to an Air Force base don't count.
well, but at the time I didn't know that, so.
Oh, okay.
You know, but still.
Yeah, UFO means you didn't know what the fuck it was.
The first one that I had was like the most meaningful experience that I had.
Meaningful.
Because I was young and it was kind of weird looking. I'm not lying to you about that. That shit fucking scared the shit out of me. But at 7 years old, obviously it would scare the crap out of anybody. But
So what'd you do?
Well.
Did you go tell your parents? Or did you just hide under the covers?
no, I laid there. I was like, how's that? I don't know. I was 6, 7. It was crazy. I don't know, but I don't remember why I remember it. It just was just one of those things. It just came across the sky. It was kind of weird.
All right. Larry?
I got nothing.
Okay. No. I tend to stare at the ground a lot.
Yeah, I mean, back when I was a kid, I'm sure there was some time I saw a light up in the sky. I was like, we're being attacked, and then like realized it was an airplane or
one of the problems we have on this show,
a baseball about to fall out of the heavens and smack me in the face,
is that Ohio is covered with clouds 90% of the time.
Yeah, we could literally have a V invasion force above us. You'd never fucking see it, man.
If it was like V, where the big ship
crazy about it, I don't see nothing.
If V ever attack, they'd completely skip over us.
Right. We wouldn't even know.
There's no land there.
People go down and they come back and they're all bitter.
It is one of the cities that it's one of the, I think it's the most major city in the United States that gets the least amount of sunshine.
Which doesn't surprise nobody. If you lived here and you saw how bad our teams did.
In the United States.
That's probably the UFO we've all seen. There's this big glowing ball in the sky, and it freaked me out. That was the one time in our lives we saw the sun.
I thought it was trying to kill us all, man. It fucking got really hot.
Now, my dad used to guard the V-2 rocket bases in Germany and France or something when he was in the Air Force, and he did tell me that he saw a UFO. He said he was standing guard, and he saw an orange dot. That's how he described it, over his head, and it moved really quick, stopped over his head, blinked a few times, and then moved away really quick. And given the time, which was the 60s, likely no sort of technology like that exists. So my dad was straight. He wasn't drinking at the time or nothing. So, I mean, but of course he has no idea what he saw, so, it's hard to say. But, I never really looked at my dad after he told me that and went, wow, Dad, you're fucking weirder than I thought. I mean, I took it for what it was. But Brian, has anybody ever told you a UFO story that you believe?
Dude, do you know the people we hang out with?
Well,
do you believe anything?
You might have heard some truck driver on the CV. Hey, yeah, I just saw a UFO fly over, and you'd be like, really? Yeah.
Why do you got to give me retards?
Like every time Brian speaks, food chunks come out in their great.
That's great.
Where's it at? Well, it's up and down the road a little bit, Brian. Just keep going. I'm sure that happened to you, right?
It's aliens. Let's go kick their ass.
I've had people tell me some fucking bullshit stories, and I'm always just like, you
just don't believe them.
You're not even able to believe them. Okay, you try. You're trying to hang in with them, but it's not that. It's not that that they're lying. It's that they know that that they're lying, but they're going on anyway. They're just talking and talking. You're like, this has to end.
Or they got that look in their eye where they're just staring at you and their mouth is moving, but they're looking at you like, don't believe any of it.
Pretty much. No,
I know that.
They're trying to. I think what they think is that they think they're smarter than you are. They're like, I'm going to fool this guy, but it's like they could barely get through their day without half killing themselves. Because they're not smarter than we are. I mean when I say we, I mean quite literally. If you're listening to this, you're smarter than whoever that person is.
Sure, okay? You know how to work the internet.
It's fucking. People just tell you stories, and you're just like, You want to help them out because the stories, at least, maybe it's like, it's not like when you're in the Navy or you're at a truck stop, you're just passing the time between things, and you're just like, sure, what else happened? Oh, really? They no anal probe. You took over the ship, and then what happened? You're just buying it because you're like, I got to be here another 15 minutes before they load my truck. Yeah, that's pretty cool, dude. But it's at some point you're driving off into the night, and you're like, I fucking should have just brought a book. It would have been about as fucking realistic. I mean, Christ almighty, man. I run into so many goddamn people with so many fucking stories. And I mean, the UFO one, I don't hear that as much as I hear about the saw my dead grandmother's ghost fucking story. But the UFO thing, all I ever hear, like I had a driver at your work, because I told him we were doing this show. He goes, dude, when I lived out by Youngstown, there was these lights and something like that. And I'm like, dude, that stuff bouncing off the atmosphere. He goes, really? I'm like, yeah. Stuff bouncing.
No. This was different.
No, he wasn't. No, he's not that. He's not fucking stupid. I mean, just like as soon as it was explained, I'm like, dude, they had a. I watch UFO shows all the time because, despite the fact that I don't exactly think that they're here, that doesn't mean I don't find them interesting. Because especially
you're preparing. You're preparing in case there's an invasion. You're like, well, I don't know if they're here or not.
Forewarned is forearmed. You're right.
Right. I need to be prepared.
The worst thing is I'm watching these fucking shows, and they never have a goddamn clear picture.
Hold on. We're going to talk about the shows once we go around this. That's the next thing we're talking about. So hold on. You can get to that.
Holding.
I forgot the question I even asked Brian at the time. What was it?
If I heard
any good.
All right.
Yeah, and it's just always like, as soon as I told them that, I'm like, dude, yeah, they have shows and they show you that a lot of the stuff that you see like on YouTube, like this special, wow, this was videotaped off of a NASA, like a space shuttle thing or whatever, and they tell you like, no, that's stuff bounces off our atmosphere and stuff. In fact, stuff sometimes bounces and then our gravity pulls it back down and it bounces again and it makes it look like something's just like moving around at odd angles and stuff like it's just stuff bouncing off the atmosphere. Scientists came forward and they're like, no, it's like they just like, no, it's not a UFO. It's just, God damn it, it's just stuff that bounces off the atmosphere. Like they wanted to just like look at the camera and like, you guys that fucking stupid? I mean, come on. But I told that guy, he was like, really? Fuck, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, don't. It's just, he was like, well, I didn't know. He looks
up and there's like a Star Destroyer flying by.
Yeah, show me that.
It's just some shit bouncing off the atmosphere, kids. Don't worry about it. It's Brian Baird told me.
Like what Cease was
he watches
saying,
TV
it's always the shaky cam that seems to fucking capture those lights, except for the one where they had it like, what was it, Indiana, those trail of lights that went across the fucking country or whatever that nobody could explain, even though I still say that's fucking Air Force bullshit.
All right.
It was still cool to look at.
So, Cease?
No, you know what?
No one's told you a story?
One person, and this guy was a complete drunk. So, no.
Our references are tired truck drivers and drunks. That's good.
Exactly. I mean, worse than I am. Let me put it that way. Drunk-wise.
Jason?
He goes around and grabs other people's knees and breaks their fucking...
Jason Korber? Okay, we lost.
I got nothing. I'm here.
He's still there. We lost him.
He's on his roof right now with fucking lights, fucking flashing, going, I'll show those motherfuckers. Laugh at me.
Yeah.
He's up there with the Casio. Corber's up there with a fucking flare gun and a Casio. Like, sons of bitches, I'll fucking go to Cleveland and bomb their asses. Fucking. I saw this. It worked in a movie. I'm just fucking with you.
Larry?
Bunch of racket.
Strangely, as much as I'd love to add some of the miscreants I hang out with to the list of, tired truck drivers and drunks that have told us stories, no. I can't even think of any great UFO stories I've heard from people, because even like my wacky ex-girlfriends, it's usually been, like Brian said, I've heard of a ton of crazy ghost stories and shit, but I got nothing for UFOs.
Okay, Cease? No, we did you. Me. Just my dad. I already told my story, so let's go now to... this music's getting crazy. Let me turn this off.
What the hell are you watching over there?
Nothing.
Don't lie. What was it?
I'm not watching anything, man. It was...
Heard music. Come on. What were you listening to? Ethereal music
it's
and shit?
On. It's just space
Hearts
music.
of the Universe presents.
Oh, my God.
Flower, the musical.
All right, so let's talk about then if everybody on here is massively skeptical except Jason and Larry. What do you guys think about Brian? Let's start with you. What do you think about the shows, the TV shows that are on Show It All? Since you watch,
they're highly entertaining. Okay, now it depends on where we're going. Okay, if we're talking like the X-Files. We all mock the X-Files, but we all have to watch it when there's nothing else on because it's entertaining. Okay, Project Blue Book is what we grew up on. All right, which was a fucking very old and very poorly put together, yet highly entertaining even to this day. Air Force investigation into UFOs, where they always debunked most, but not all of them. It's the ones. It's like ghost hunters. You know that they're going to just discover that there's nothing there, but every so often, it's not that they prove that ghosts exist. They just find shit they can't explain, and that's when you're like, I'm in. I'm so fucking there, dude. That's when it's like it becomes fun to watch. But I don't want to watch some fucking fat dude in a fucking suit sitting in a library pulling out books, looking all concerned and go, this is professional expert, blah, 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 no PhD in anything, who's here to tell us today about the UFO phenomenon. Well, that's because it's been, then they go on for 15 fucking 20 minutes about Majestic. You're like, come on, fucking get to the spaceman. What the fuck kind of expert is this? I don't want those guys. I want scientists, okay, to sit there and be able to say, we don't know what this is. And every so often you get a show where there's somebody there that's like, we don't know what that was. Was it a UFO? I can't say. And that's where you're like, oh, that's good. But for the most part, it's always the fucking same rehashed bullshit, shaky cam. That's the worst. That's the worst. It's like, it's a UFO. I understand if it's moving really fucking fast.
Yeah. Can't anybody have a fucking steady arm for once?
I mean, I imagine if I think I'm encountering something from another universe or another fucking planet, I might shake a little bit too, okay? But I mean, do these guys really got to be running through fucking cornfields? Fucking just like practically tripping over shit. It's like they gave their fucking camera to the village idiot,
They gave it to the 2-year-old. Now point that way.
Yeah. It's like, what am I looking at? There's a little dot just like off in the sky. Like, my God, what is that? It's like, I don't know. I'm sure someone yelled, pull, and I fucking fucking launched it. You're like, now start recording, fucking, it's a UFO. Oh my God, it's so fake, the reactions. When it's bullshit, they're like, oh my God, you see what that is? They're all like fucking in fake panic modes, eyes wide, but they all have a little smirk on their face, like, it's a UFO. It's like, yeah, all right, whatever, man. So.
All right, Cease?
Well, they got this new one on now. These like 3 guys walk around. And they talk to people who've seen this stuff, and the best is when they go to like the new area 51, and they're like, yeah, well, we see these guys and these men in black come around here, and they point guns at us, tell us to get out of here, and all of a sudden these helicopters come out of nowhere. Yeah, they're all black, and yeah, look at that. And I'm like looking at it, and then I'm like, what the fuck? They're probably right next to a goddamn military base. Of course you're going to see some fucking helicopters, But I don't know. But the camera shots and stuff, you can't see anything. I'm like, just dump it. That drives me nuts. What the hell good is it going to do? You always hear people saying, oh, you see these ships with insignias and the cigar shape and this and that. You never see nothing. Nothing. I mean, it just drives me nuts. I think the only thing that really gets me is like if you hear like a bunch of different cities and a bunch of cops that seen the same thing and they got the report and they've seen it, it's like, and it's got a little bit of integrity to it, I guess, if you will. The storyline, yeah, that gets me a little bit because it's a bunch of people seen it, and it's not just a truck driver or somebody in their house. It's somebody like. There's a cop going over the radio going, listen, dude, I see this. And another cop says it down the other street. It's like, yeah, well, that I can see, but when you got like crazy crap, you can't even fucking tell what it is. That shit drives me nuts. Like, oh, it could be, shut up. You can't even see it, dude. Forget it. So,
exactly.
Jason Korber? Oh, we lost him. Okay,
we lost him.
Larry?
What was the question?
Oh my God!
Do I think of? Well, no.
Television shows.
What do I think of? V?
No. The investigative shows that are on
V.
the ones on like the History Channel and stuff.
Oh, okay, yeah. For the most part, I think they're crap. They're either like Brian was saying, 5 guys that I met at a bar who, got cool degrees from online universities saying they're doctors of alien mythology, or they're the same 5 minutes of footage we've all seen from Roswell that was shot on Alien Autopsy 10 years ago. So, and by the way, here's your Larry Mack rant for the day, because you got to have a good Larry Mack rant. That applies to all those goddamn investigative shows like that fucking piece of crap Ghost Hunters. But anyway,
you watch it though.
No, I don't.
You don't watch Ghost Hunters.
I attempted to.
If it was out of the bar, you'd get up and walk out. You'd be like, no.
I wouldn't watch the TV. But anyway, no. For the most part, I think the investigative shows are bad. But to be fair, there have been a few that I watched because, hey, that looks cool. And then I watched it and I was disappointed. So I don't then go watch the next 47 of them.
Okay.
So there may be awesome ones that I have not been lucky enough to see.
I've watched the ones on the History Channel and stuff. I'm not really that interested in the whole, but we're going to talk about it in a minute, the whole Roswell thing.
Turn off your phone.
You know what? I did shut it off, and then Jason got disconnected, so I had to fucking turn it back on. So, okay, so I can see what happened. Now I'm shutting it off again. Don't blame me. Blame the people that don't have fucking internet.
No, don't hate the player.
So I can keep them on the fucking show properly. All right, here we go. Call them back. But then, they released, like, the supposed, like, Russian UFO sighting videos and shit.
Yeah, that was fun to watch.
So I Jesus.
And it's shaped like a flying saucer, but you can see a person's hand.
Jason.
Yes.
What do you think?
I failed by accident. I wanted to ask somebody, a friend of mine who saw the show on the History Channel called "I Know What I Saw," and I wanted to ask Brian if he's seen it.
Yeah, I thought it was fun.
Yeah,
as in it was fun. As in I thought it was entertaining.
How realistic do you think?
Oh, I thought it was.
What was the truth behind?
Realistic, dude. Come on.
No, well, I mean the truth behind it is what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Zarak.
Wouldn't that be cool, though? You'd be watching some shit, and you'd be like, what the? What is that? And then you see this fucking... Oh, my God! Run for it! You'd be like, oh, shit! What is
Arm
this?
goes flying across in front of that goddamn video camera.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
And it's real and shit. You're like, what? No. Come on.
Yeah.
Can we negotiate with them? No, they're just eating people. They're just eating everything. They're not really interested in talking.
Just stick a spike in your head and suck your brain out.
Easy, but those are the kinds of aliens I want.
They said anything about terms of our surrender? No, they haven't said shit.
Yeah. They don't seem really interested in that.
There's no conversation.
There's been some belching and munching noises. That's about it.
Yeah. They do seem pretty balls out on fucking wiping us out, though.
Yeah, are they here for our water? No, they're here to eat us. I mean, that's
they seem to be avoiding that pretty fucking.
I'm sorry, bacteria doesn't seem to be the thing here. We're
well, I mean, why they don't seem
we tried giving them polio. That didn't work.
I don't seem to understand their species, but they just seem to be able to make and fly spaceships and eat people because all they seem to be is a pair of arms, two very small feet. They're round, and the rest of them, they're just a giant plastic feet, and that's it, man.
Yeah, they're a giant mouth with appendages that can hold weapons. That's all we know about them.
Like Pac-Man.
The only intelligence we got out of them is they dropped McDonald's down here to fatten us all up.
Yeah. No, they're just slapping that right out of the air. They don't care about that, but they want us. Any type of defense we can bring up? No, we got nothing.
We heard one thing. They said, you deserve a break today.
Well, should we get down the bunker? About the bunker, yeah. We got reports they're just eating right through the fucking steel.
Yeah.
They ate the hell out of the bunker, too. So,
that's not stopping.
That didn't work so well.
They're going to be here, like, really soon. Like, now, as a matter of fact. There's screams in the hallway. Now, see, that would be some good shit to watch.
Turns out To Serve Man really is a cookbook.
Yeah.
All right. So, Jason, what do you think about the shows?
I don't watch them.
No.
Jenny doesn't. Oh.
I learned my lesson now. Yes. Shut up. Sit in the corner, cry. Stick my thumb in my mouth. Be fine.
No, so it's like those Russian ones, but then you see a bunch of guys that are dressed up like the Stasi or something, and they're standing around like a UFO that's next to the woods, and there's like people like in it, like looking at it, like and stuff, and like they found this UFO next to the woods. You're like that's a recreate. That's bullshit. That's not real.
That's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Russian fucking TV.
Good television.
And then the Russians discovered the death rape. Holy shit!
I want to see somebody disintegrate in front of the camera.
That's true.
All I know is I've been away for fucking way too long.
That's great. The alien weapons all make the 1950 sound effects and shit.
That'd be awesome. And we can't defeat them. They're flying around in really bad 50s looking like flames and
really slow
out of the fucking back of the fucking engines, and fucking and we are
just whooping our asses.
We are completely helpless. We're like fucking like a woman in their arms, man. We're just like, oh my god, we can't fucking stop them. That thing flying. Oh. It looks like a giant fucking, like a rock, like a Flash Gordon fucking rocket is going. Look at the back, and our fucking, it doesn't even go that fast. It doesn't even go that fast. It's kind of slow, and our fucking like jets like shit. The missiles just bounce right off. It's like we're dead.
That's great.
We have absolutely no chance. I can't fucking believe this. Not one of us can defeat it. No.
They have the cheap little flickering flame behind it, all orange because there's no real heat.
Yeah.
Cockpit on the top, completely exposed.
The UFOs are coming down. The discs, they're like a wobbly, like some drunk alien flying around and shit. And we fucking have like there's super soldiers, just like these gay boxy looking robots, and yet like a fucking some Navy still on the flamethrower, just like hoses the thing and it just keeps coming.
Yeah. It doesn't even have a weapon, but for some reason it just points a limb at you and fucking flames come out of it.
The robots just have those little claw hands like the fucking Lost in Space robot, but they just like tear through our military, grabbing guys by the neck and crushing them.
They all have fucking Jacob's ladders on their heads.
All right, this show's getting out of control.
Show's running long.
The aliens with the robots are walking really fucking slow. You'd have plenty of time to think about how fucked up this was, man. Like, you gotta be shitting me, man.
They have the big dumb, Flash Gordon laser gun looking thing.
You see the guys flying down
got
with
little rings around it. The clear plastic tip.
Yeah, everybody runs away, but then anytime the alien shows up, that music just starts playing out of nowhere. Doon, doon, doon,
The guys with the gold fucking...
They're here! All the power goes out and shit.
They just walk right through your plaster wall. God damn it.
Okay, so... Brian, what do you think about the whole Roswell incident? I'm sure you're familiar with it.
Yeah.
What do you think?
What, that was aliens?
Well, I mean, what do you think? Was it true? Do you think it was?
Am I supposed to say it was true or not?
I mean, do you think it was a government cover-up?
When I first became aware of Roswell, okay, let me rephrase it. When I first had any kind of interest in Roswell to detect whether or not, by detect I mean reading a book or something that had something to do with it because I was bored. I bought into it, okay, because it sounded feasible, okay, and that has slowly been eaten away by everyone else trying to prove that it actually happened. Because every time they do like any kind, especially that god awful fucking alien autopsy video, which was fucking horrible. The more they try to prove it was a real alien spaceship that landed, the less I believe it's true. I'm like, you know what? Fuck you. I think it really was a weather balloon. I mean, who's to say it really wasn't? I mean, maybe they were trying to do some tests with like people saying, okay, let's tell them it was an alien at first to see how they react. Which, of course, everybody went bug shit. Like, okay, that was a really dumb idea, so we won't do that again. I think I honestly, to this day, dude, I think it's a weather balloon. I'm not positive. I wasn't there, but because it would be pretty fucking cool if it was. But I didn't see shit, so there's no proof, hard evidence to prove that it actually happened, except a bunch of people that aren't believable. So.
Cease, what do you think about the Roswell incident?
It's too long ago to really, you get everybody's. I don't know. It just seems too far too far gone to really get anything good out of it because everything back then it was so hush hush and everything and like, oh no, we can't have, and it's like no one had their own video cameras, this and that. We really don't have any solid evidence except this little piece of whatever tinfoil this guy's got and somebody said they saw bodies, so I can't really. It's not enough for me to get anything out of that one.
Jason?
No.
Nothing?
No.
You don't even believe the city is there? There is no Roswell.
After sitting and listening to Brian for the last hour now, forget it.
I've convinced him. I've convinced him of the error of his ways of believing in anything.
It's nothing.
Believe in nothing.
Larry?
It's like...
No, dude. If you believe it, go ahead. I mean, you might get some.
I get what you're saying, though. You make a hell of a lot of sense in a lot of things.
I do. Well, I do. Oh my God!
Believe it or not.
Oh, the world's over.
Yeah, whatever.
The world's ending right now.
I think that's one of the signs of the apocalypse.
It has to be.
Larry?
I think that I think that that was the late 40s, and right around then, our society took a turn for the worst. I think that was the alien invasion, and since then we've been living in the Matrix, and it's all been made up. In 1947, aliens came in and took us over. No,
Odd people.
I think no, I'm sure something happened at some point there, but really, even speaking as somebody who believes in UFOs and believes they've been here and believes that at some point one of them, crashed into something just because shit happens.
Yeah, they were.
It's been 60 years. Everything Don said is right.
Would have missed their spaceship and come back to find out what happened.
Well, not just that. They may have said, "Hey, we're going in," and they said, it's not like we go out and look for every fucking boat that sinks. But although it's true that there weren't people running around with video cameras, people weren't getting pictures of it on their cell phones, shit like that. There were 60 years of people who worked at the Roswell Air Force Base. At some point, somebody would have taken the payoff from the National Enquirer to sell something. Somebody would have smuggled something out to prove something in 60 years of minimum wage workers working at the joint.
Well, okay, we'll talk about that in a minute because that's an interesting thing you just said, and I've got some questions about that. But from what exactly. I read a lot of I read and watched a lot of the Roswell stuff a long time ago, and basically, what supposedly it was that we didn't have satellites at the time. Obviously, okay, we didn't have satellites until the 60s. Yeah. So, but the Russians were developing nuclear weapons, and we didn't have any sort of over-the-horizon radar. So what we would do was we would take these large, like dish, almost like it looked like a flying saucer. Is a large dish that would go up on a balloon, and when it would be up in the air, we would and get over the horizon, we would be able to bounce radar off of it over onto Russian soil to see if they tested a nuclear detonation. But the whole project was very secretive. And so a lot of people in the area may not have even known, even the commanders on the ground might not have known about it. So when this balloon crashed with this giant dish into the ground, people were like, oh my God, it's a fucking UFO with parachute recoil system. And and then they found the larger military came over and said, shut the fuck up,
Yeah.
What's supposed to know?
Nothing happened.
So, largely, I believe that's what the case. Okay, let me add Anderson here. And then I'll ask him the same series of questions. Donald?
Yes.
So I have some questions for you.
Okay, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, you sound great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Donnie did buy a new computer, everyone.
Got a new Hooray for Donnie.
Good job.
Now that he's a bona fide professional broadcaster, he's got to check his sound levels and stuff when he calls in.
Well, yeah.
Check.
Am I 5x5?
Yeah.
That and the fact that the other one blew up. But,
Well, you sit in front of it, so bang!
No, I just told him to reboot it, and it won't reboot.
See?
So
Kevin destroyed it. You should pay.
That's an impressive commentary on Kevin's skills. Last we heard, Don was bringing his computer to Kevin so he could fix it. Today we learned Don bought a new computer.
Yes. So you know what happened there.
Yeah, it was kind of messed up. I mean, it was. He just tried to reboot it and it won't come back up. I haven't had a chance to look at it yet, though. Anyway, so Anderson, let's go. Do you believe in UFOs? And when we say UFOs on the show, we mean aliens, not just weird government shit.
Yes.
Okay. Have you ever seen a UFO?
I think so.
Tell us about it.
Okay. The house I lived on in Lansing, Kevin and Don and Brian, you've all seen it. Mm-hmm. So is Coco. Mm-hmm. We had a long driveway, and what happened was we used to have elderly neighbors that lived next door. So I used to go out before school, and my dad would always be like, "Before you leave for school, go get the newspaper for me," because they left it at the end of the long ass driveway. So I would go out there and go get our newspaper every day. Well, while I was out there, I'd walk over to the neighbor's house, get their paper, and I'd walk it up to their door because I was just such a nice kid. But,
hello, Daddy. Thank you for giving us our newspaper.
Right. Plus the fact that my dad was like, "Go get their paper as well." I was like, "Oh, okay, fair enough."
I want to,
boy. So
get up and go.
So the one day I was walking up their driveway. It was like I don't know, like 6:30 in the morning. About
what? No, I already know this is bullshit. You never get up that early.
I was in high school. I had to get up for school.
He was still up.
Yeah, no, I didn't even get up. Yeah. Who said I went to sleep, right? And I was walking up their driveway. So it was like 6:30 in the morning around December or something like that. So it's like, you know how like that's when the sun starts coming up now, like around between 6:30 and 7. And as I was walking up their driveway, there was like a flash of light, but it wasn't a bright flashlight. It was as if somebody was like taking a picture.
Somebody was turning into the driveway to turn around.
Right. It was I just turned around. It was a paper guy. He's like, "Give me that paper back, kid. Don't be robbing your neighbors. They're elderly."
See the guy with the powder thing on his fucking camera.
But it was like a flashlight, and it seemed to come from like above me. So like I looked up and I saw what I thought was a star in the sky, and I was like, "That's a pretty
star."
I was like, "That's a pretty weird looking," and then it just went and just shot across the sky and disappeared.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, I mean, you know what I mean? I was like sitting there staring at it, and then it just zipped across the sky.
They just took a naked picture of you, Don. You didn't even know.
I'm not the only one that sees shit like that.
Dude, we know that. Out of everybody on this show, you two are the most untrustable fucking people to talk about shit.
Crazy.
Right?
You're crazy. Look who's talking.
Dude, everything I've said so far has been no. All right? So I know nobody's going to believe me, but don't you fucking try telling me about I saw something, because I'm like, no.
I did say I saw something. I said I think I saw something. I'm not positive.
Doesn't count.
See, that's where I felt.
See lights moving across
Brian's
the sky.
just in denial. Brian, they're coming for you. Brian doesn't want to think about it because it'll drive him nuts now. So
when it's just
Jason saw a whole league of fucking aliens walking across the street. The third time. This was the third time.
He is in Florida.
You got to understand. See, Brian's whole life is a very delicate balance of denial and truth, and now we're starting to tip the scales into his paranoia, so that he's going to go to bed tonight going, maybe they're right.
You don't believe in aliens, Brian?
No.
I don't believe that.
Wait a minute. Hold on.
I'm saying no because the way I originally answered that question, it seemed to cause a certain amount of havoc. So I'm just going to no. I don't.
No.
Okay. I'm saying that I actually.
Okay.
Okay. Look, I actually do think that aliens could exist because it's sort of like a proven theory, or not proven so much as that it's an open theory. But like some scientists said, if you take so many of the solar systems that exist, and if you have like so many of them should be able to support life, and if you took that by some sort of ratio, some of them
mathematically speaking, they're
statistically.
I'm just saying that I think that they could exist. I'm just thinking they'd have absolutely no reason to ever come here.
Water and air. Yeah,
no, dude, I wouldn't even. Our water.
No reason.
Christ, can you imagine if the fucking aliens came and said,
planet's got the most water anywhere. No reason to be here, though.
Really, man, if they really wanted to fuck with it, I mean, if the guys from V-Land, like, we need your water, you just want to get rid of them, just have them pump Lake Erie. Wipe them all the fuck out.
And then set them on fire.
Wouldn't even have to, they would just go to move out of our atmosphere and all of a sudden be like a fireworks show.
Yeah, it just light the fucking trail. Blue flame following up.
The rest of the planet is like on the brink, and it's like can be saved, but no.
That's awesome.
And Anderson, what do you think about the
this big chemical?
Well, have you ever had anybody tell you an alien story that you believed? Anybody ever tell you a UFO story that you believe? Somebody that you trust or anything like that? Anybody you know tell you something?
Don't trust them. That's even funnier.
Not really.
Okay. What do you think about the UFO TV shows, the investigative shows that are on?
You know what? They're all a waste of time because they're all like reenactments, and who cares about? You know what I mean? I could throw a hubcap through the sky and videotape it and tell you this is what it looked like. And it doesn't mean anything.
You need to get Larry back.
Do I? All right.
We need his input, dude.
We don't, because he's so goddamn loud. We need to figure out ways to turn him down. He's coming back.
Well, just go to his house.
He usually has to message me, though, because
this is crazy.
He has to reset before we can get him on. Okay, so
you hear him screaming, "Get off me!" Oh, fuck.
Okay,
so Larry, cut it out.
Larry's back.
What do I do now?
Okay, so let's talk a minute about Area 51 then. Area 51 was basically make believe until about between 5 and 10 years ago, when the Russians and the United States had a nuclear arms treaty that allowed either side to fly satellites over their country and take photos and of anything they wanted. And then sure enough, on the internet, pictures of Area 51 show up. Groom Lake.
It's a nice big desert and an Air Force landing.
It is a Groom Lake Air Force Base. And for about 60 years, it has been manned, staffed, highly secure area. Obviously, we can all imagine that they're working on things like the stealth fighter there. But
obviously there's nothing there.
What Larry was saying about Roswell was that you would think after 60 years somebody would say something. Basically, nobody's ever come out and said anything about Area 51, except for some freaks on Art Bell's show.
I was going to say, come on, man.
those are the best, dude. Come on.
Right. No, the ones where they record the dead people talking are the best. But, yeah.
Go ahead.
The Spirit Box, that's awesome.
Do you... You know, it's probably one of the most secure areas in the United States. I mean, I've gone on a tour of a nuclear power plant before, not that secure, right? People all work in the military. Hell, Lockheed hired Tom Packard. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So he's not exactly the sort of dude that's going to fucking get all wild and just blow shit up.
You know, when I used to drive around all the time, I used to listen to Art Bell all the time, and he once had this guy on who's like, I made myself my own propeller plane, and I'm flying into Area 51. Oh, yeah. and he's like, what are you doing this? He's like, I'm doing it right now. I'm flying into. Oh my god, what is that? I've never seen anything like this before. And he started just totally going on about it. And then he's like,
yeah. Oh wait, they're shooting a missile at me. And then he fucking dies off. I'm like, yeah, right.
You got Art Bell going, hello, sir. Hello, sir.
That was
got somebody in the background going.
There was one guy. In fact, Tool actually put it on their fucking one album. Some guy who called in and said he worked at Area 51, and
he gets those all the time.
Yeah, but this guy was the only one where I ever actually got chills. Because the guy literally sounded like he was freaking the fuck out. He said, you only been working there 6 months. He was I don't know, fucking what the hell the guy said he did. Because it was so long ago. But the dude was he was just going off about how he just saw a bunch of alien stuff or whatever. And the way the dude just came across was you hear about it, you think you're not, you're supposed to be there, but when you actually see it, it's just completely alien. The way the guy was just oh my god, it's like nothing we can imagine.
That'd be the greatest fucking prank for the new guys that work in there. Oh, dude, we gotta take him to the alien room.
I'm sure they have a whole fucking they've got a whole fucking hangar with nothing but just bullshit in there just to freak people out.
That'd be great. He believes it.
Take this key and go unlock door number B3.
Well,
Go get a mop.
Tom and I, Tom
opens it up, and there's some alien in there, like, Argh!
Tom worked at Lockheed, and an interesting couple of tidbits about that I found interesting was, first of all, he had, during the interview process, had told them that he had smoked weed one time.
Right.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, they did?
No, they did. In fact, they sent, the FBI
They sent stuff to his house?
No, not just to his house. They went to all of his neighbors' houses and interviewed. This is a true story. And
they interviewed Oz.
They interviewed his friends and his family and the places that he worked and everything.
They still hired
to find out. Yeah. And
I don't understand how they couldn't come talk to me.
And well, they heard him. They got a file on you already. They don't need to.
Yeah, but this is a small one, and they keep it in a place they don't care about.
And when he got there, I don't know exactly what Tom did, but probably pushed the broom around. But they had different areas at Lockheed. This was out near San Francisco, or in San Francisco. I'm not sure exactly where. And there's different areas inside Lockheed where there are different levels of security, top secret security, and you can't go into various areas unless your classification allows you to go through those doors, or go through into different areas. Tom didn't tell me too much because I think he would take a bullet if he told me too much about it. But it was very high secure. It was very, very highly secure. Area 51, obviously, what they do is they have people that board an airplane in Las Vegas. And or buses that go through somehow underground through the mountain pass, but mostly, from what I understand, people get on airplanes in Las Vegas and fly to the base every day and then fly back. What do you guys think, Brian? What do you think the deal is with Area 51?
I think it's just now it's garbage, but I mean. Back in its heyday, I do believe that it was probably just advanced prototype, stealth. Stealth was like the big thing because they were trying to break the whole radar screen that the Soviet Union had. And they just happened to come up with the whole, the armor that they put on the planes that reflects and bounces off the whatchamacallits, the radar. Of course, later on, they discovered how to break that simply by looking for, where there should be something and there's nothing there at all. But I think that's all it is. It's just a base where they were just coming up with very creative types of military applications. But there's a UFO buried out there somewhere. Number one, Area 51 is not where the UFO from Roswell went. That went to Wright Air Force Base. And for everybody who followed any of the TV shows we talked about earlier, they said it should still be there if it's there at all, which that's in Dayton, Ohio, for people who didn't know that. So, let me see. But yeah, I mean, the whole, Area 51, they've had everything talked about that, from UFOs to biological weapons escaping. I love those movies, by the way. But I just think it's just military hardware, super advanced radar systems, shit out in the middle of the desert, because I'm sure half of the stuff that they're testing could possibly be lethal, So
you don't think there's any alien spacecraft out there?
None at all.
Okay. Anderson?
What do I think Area 51 is?
Yeah, do you think there's alien? Do you think they're testing alien spacecraft? I mean, why is it so secure?
I'll be back. I got to go to the bathroom.
Yep. Ugh. What's your... Brian's got to unload a log now after talking so much.
All right. You would think so, because everybody on Art Bell says so. But I don't know. You would think so.
Well, we know
the government's smart enough to...
We know you don't know.
If they do have a place where they have aliens and stuff, they probably are just just let people believe it's Area 51, and then they got someplace else like Area 52, and they got everything over there on the other side.
Area 51 was a nickname that we gave it. The government doesn't actually call it. That would be ironic if the government called it Area 51. Oh shit, they figured it out. No, it's
classified number. Damn it!
It's basically it's an extension of I think Nellis Air Force Base. And it's basically called Groom Lake. It's on a dry lake bed in the desert called Groom Lake. Just so you know. I mean, I know you don't really care, but I'm just telling you that the government.
Anybody ask me?
Well, the government doesn't call it Area 51. That's all. It's just it's not the same. That's just a nickname for it, because it basically didn't exist up until 10 years ago. I mean, technically to the government. The government never admitted to such a thing, and now it only admits to it when talking about funding. That's it. Money that goes to the project, whatever it is. There's no other. There's nothing else about it. I think if you say anything about it, somebody comes to your door and just gathers your shit.
Come with us.
Yeah, basically.
Please, I'm ready.
Is it safe?
Puts you in a car and fucking. I have no idea what sort of government operation handles all that. It is owned by the Air Force, though, so I don't know. It's interesting. Cease, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I'm along the lines with Brian. I think almost 99% of all this stuff is military action. It's just like the only ones that kind of question me is like when they send up a plane to check it out, like a military plane. You don't really hear a lot of that. So I think everything else would be something that either we're working on or they're working on, or like Russia or China or something. If there was if they were out there that much, that many people have seen it, and there'd have to be some kind of wreck in the middle of somewhere that he couldn't hide. You know what I mean? It'd have to be, people with cameras, all this other shit. And it's amazing when something does happen that the fucking military's right there to clean it up and get everybody out of the way. So they had to know there's a flight pattern to where they were going. Oh shit, the guy's just fucking. Oh god damn it, he just fell down in the motherfucking woods over there. Let's get over there. I mean, how the hell they know? It's like, come on.
Okay.
So, and obviously there's going to be some unexplainable shit. And who knows what the hell that is? Like lightning, rods or whatever the fuck. That's it. That's all I got.
That's all I got. That's all he's got.
Larry?
I'm confused on the question.
What do you think about Area 51? I mean, do you think it's like these guys? Do you think it's all military? Do you think they're working on UFOs in there? Do you think that
like specifically at that site? Because as we've established, the idea of Area 51 predates that site.
Yeah, back in the day or whatever.
Well, right, but there's no other military base of my knowledge that is commented on as much and has as tight of security and is as large as this operation.
I think that I think that it's a secure facility that they probably use for. I think that. How do I say this?
I don't know.
Eat him a group of bits?
Joe average military facility is fairly secure. The fact that one or a handful of them are more secure kind of makes you wonder what's up there, because I do believe in UFOs and I do believe that they've been here and I do believe that they come here. I can see where they would have specific ones set aside for either tracking them or possibly that they have recovered stuff and reverse engineer stuff at those facilities that we use. And it's entirely possible that's one of them.
Jason, did I get to you?
You still he's been around to me a couple of times. No, I'm cool. I have no. You know what? I really have nothing to say about it anymore because my opinion has been my opinion has been compromised, and I need to do research.
And leave your feelings out of it.
Brian was me.
It's over. I'm also
Jason.
No, I mean, I have my ideas. But seriously,
let's hear them, dude.
It's a little far-fetched for right now, huh?
Dude, you were last show. You were all about it. Man. You were all like, "Man, I've seen some crazy shit." Well, then, fuck it. I've never heard it. Go ahead. I promise. I will not watch.
Shut up. What do you think? What I believe is, my opinion is.
Nobody cares. No.
It's really fucked up. It really is fucked up, dude.
Wow, that's hardcore.
We knew that already. Now let everybody else know.
What do you think about Area 51, Jason? Tell me now.
Area 51, I believe.
Mumbo jumbo. Sorry, go ahead. I'll stop. Honestly, God, go ahead.
No, it's okay. You can do whatever you need.
Dude, you scare me when you say things like that.
Like what?
He'll stab you in the head.
Because you know he's coming back to town.
You can do whatever you want, just like I can, Brian.
No, I'm not going to kill anybody. Jesus Christ! What the hell is this?
That would be crazy.
Yeah, we can't do that. That would be crazy. Unlike
Are you trying to say that you think I'm crazy, Brian? Is that what you're telling?
Yeah.
That would be crazy for him to say something like he would want to kill you. It wouldn't be crazy for him to say, like, I'm going to hire somebody to kill you.
Yeah, it'd be crazy.
I'm going to send my alien friends over there.
We're not.
Yeah, like if somebody talks about you bad on their little podcast after you hung up about their shorts and shit, and you go over and you kill them with a butcher's knife, a dull one, that'd be crazy. Boy, he got quiet.
What are you talking about, Brian?
That's because you caught me at the wrong time.
You all right?
That was a funny episode, dude.
Yeah,
right.
You caught me with my mouth full.
Yeah, fucking. You did me pretty good. But I'm sorry. Anyways,
that was funny. That was funny.
It was, dude. It was like I was gonna get a hold of it. I was gonna try calling. I was like, I'm coming over there. I'm gonna make you put on my shorts. I'm gonna put my hands on your pants and rub your balls. Come on, you want me to? You know you do.
Hey, you know what? All I gotta say is I probably wouldn't have done it so long, but Larry was laughing so hard, I had to keep going. I was like, wow, Larry's loving
was
this.
mocking me. Of course, he's gonna laugh.
Keep going. Keep
Hell,
going.
you guys think? Now I'm going to kill all you.
All right. Awesome.
Jason, do you think there's aliens in
talking
Area
about me? What? You're an alien, Don.
All right, so
Brian Baird is the king of the aliens. He's right there. It's his plan. You just nothing you believe. Don't forget about it. That's what I
Just
say.
sucking down gerbils.
Dude, those new V chicks are hot.
So that one chick's from.
I know. I'm the whole time looking at her going, "Fuck, I know who she is." And then you put it on our forums. You're like, "Yeah, she was in
Firefly."
Yeah, and with what's his face, the blonde guy.
Yeah,
it was the pilot and shit. I can never remember their names when I'm not watching this show. And I was like, "Oh fuck!" They're like they're in it. And there's that chick.
Which one is it? Is it
has no emotions from Lost is in it.
It's the prostitute chick. It's
oh yeah, she's hot. Yeah.
Baccarin or something.
Yeah, she looks pretty good with short hair. You know.
Yeah, if you like
man, short hair, but she's still hot.
All right. Anyway,
All right, back to the important part.
One of the things I had heard about
the aliens.
One of the
alien Wu-Tang would be a great thing to.
One of the things I had heard about Area 51, and probably heard this from an Art Bell show, but I'm not sure anymore, is what they had is when they recovered a wrecked alien spacecraft, they have it there, but they don't have the ability to use it. It requires a fuel that they don't have, and they basically this part's true on the list of elements, the big charts of elements. When you start to get to through the nuclear elements, there's a heavier element that is theorized that can become stable. If we could create it, and supposedly this ship would run on that. It would be a very heavy, sort of like depleted uranium element, but heavier, and be able to be used as a fuel source. But since they can't fly it, they use it and they experiment with various pieces of it.
They all sit and pretend to fly. They're like, I'm a space alien.
Big
Look at me. Fire lasers. Oh,
I
didn't know I was going to do that.
You've had it for fucking 60 years.
They put a quarter in it and it just goes back and forth.
Bad calliope music.
They got a screen in there. All you hear
So that's Berserk, wasn't it?
Human fight like gay robot.
Yeah, I do find the. I'll tell you the truth. I do find Area 51 interesting only because it's so highly secure. Yeah.
Oh yeah, like I said, those shows are fun as hell to watch. I just don't know how much I buy in.
We can.
But that's the thing. You know what? If they were aliens, yeah, like what? Oh, the aliens came down and they knew to go to the White House. They knew to go to the White House and talk to the president and be like, okay, we're going to keep this under wraps. We're not going to tell anybody. Fuck that. The aliens would come down and be like, we're here. We're going to either kill you or we're going to enslave you. It's not really your choice. It's what's going to happen.
Well, not if there was.
What if they're a bunch of pussies, though?
Not if there was a star.
Oh, please,
no. But for one thing, they
conquer them.
Arguably, if they've mastered space flight, it's entirely possible that they're civilized and would therefore go to people's leaders. It's not like we send our troops over to Afghanistan and have them start shooting up random farms out in the countryside.
Okay, that's the fun, right? That's when you get bored. Like we shoot bottles. They're out there shooting cows.
All right, I'll tell you a little bit about my theory here. Okay, Brian was talking about the mathematics of the universe. Okay, basically, the way the universe is, when you're looking at a scientific thing and not the God and 7 days thing, comes from a Big Bang theory. But the Big Bang is the big question mark. We don't know how that originated from, and one of the theories is that there's parallel universes, and I don't mean dimensional, I mean parallel. They exist right next to each other, and
I actually do believe it.
When they accidentally accidentally come in contact with each other, which creates a repeat Big Bang process of this matter that forms. Therefore, the universe can be infinite. And matter can continually reform, and this process can go on. If we're technically eternal, if this has happened throughout time, then it's more likely, mathematically speaking, that a race of aliens existed before us, and it is much more likely that we were created by them than it would be that we randomly appeared.
So that you're talking like ancient civilizations that were like super civilizations before the one that we have now, because
not even on Earth. Not even on Earth. Earth is too young of that process to have happened.
What if it's a reprocess, like a cycle?
Right,
we're going back through it again.
Well, but see, it's not, because time doesn't work that way. It doesn't go around and around in a circle. It continues.
It's linear, but you don't know that. You're saying it's reforming itself.
You do know that. I mean,
matter's redoing itself over and over again.
No, it doesn't work like that. No, I know what you're saying, Cease, but scientifically, that's just a theory. That doesn't. What you're saying isn't possible mathematically.
They found this 10,000-year-old battery in the middle of a rock, and they don't know what the hell it's for.
Well, in Egypt,
no,
right?
But they have found a lot of they found a lot of ancient tools and stuff.
Right. So the aliens
that were far more modern than where it should have been. Like where they found it in the Earth's crust. It's like it's debatable. It's like they call it forbidden archaeology because they think it's like it shouldn't be there, so therefore it must be doctored.
Right. Okay, you guys are on the right path. But what I'm trying to say is that the aliens were here from the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
But they're not an ancient civilization themselves. They weren't like ancient Egyptians that formed then said, you know what, we're just going to run everything like the Illuminati. Okay, they were already in space. They're really old. They created us for some reason, and they may interfere from time to time. This is just I don't believe this, but I'm saying this is scientifically possible. Which is
it came down here like, hey, look, man. Look at this monkey. Isn't it funny? Wouldn't it be great if we gave it his brain,
Right, right. Exactly. Or it could have been something where they screwed something up, or we could be one of many things that they're working. I mean, who knows how advanced they are and how old they are.
We're an alien love child. That's what it was.
But to me, that is much more possible than a lot of the other possibilities that potentially could happen. So anyway, let's see. If aliens were on the planet, Brian, what do you think they would want?
Apparently free health care and not...
and jobs.
And jobs.
Aliens are here...
and landscaping jobs.
Pamela
aliens would be here to serve man.
Brian.
It's a cookbook.
I'm letting them do their thing because I think it's funny. What would aliens want?
Well, if they were here, they could be Tracy Lords walking around like she did in that one science fiction show. They could be masking as humans, or they could be in the ocean like the Abyss. Well,
it depends on what type of alien you're talking about. If you're talking about the Saurians, then we're definitely talking about we're here as like food for them. or definitely slaves. If you're talking about the Anunnaki, it doesn't know it's unknowable because they were extremely advanced for their species. Although they're supposedly wiped out on the one planet that's now the asteroid belt around in our system. But that Anunnaki would be the ancient astronauts. People who don't know. As far as any other alien species that came to Earth, it depends. Now, if we're talking about a race like the Orcs, that would be like to destroy us in Warhammer 40,000. The Tyranid would be here to eat us. Any other races would probably be here just to rip off all of our resources. And it's like I've always said, we should just annihilate them.
So you're saying they'd have no real interest in us?
We wouldn't be able to.
I mean, honestly, ask yourself seriously, if you were an alien and you saw the way this world functioned, would you be interested in keeping this species alive, a conquering species?
You might like
that
TV.
Wants nothing more than to wipe out everything it comes in contact with and screw it up somehow?
You might be like, wow, this television invention's pretty neat. I like this TV. They make a lot of these shows.
Dude, they probably fucking were looking at the TV going, oh, yeah, my great-grandfather had one of those TV things once. I know what that is. Yeah, these guys got to go.
You might be like, this is pretty neat. This ice cream they invented, this is tasty. No?
Charbroiled piece of
Anderson, what do you think?
What would the aliens be here for?
Yeah.
To listen to VGN radio.
They'd be here to rock out with their cock out. Yeah!
And possibly stick around till Tuesday to listen to Tumbling with Tumbleweed live at 10 o'clock.
Metal.
Yeah! And if you listen to the D&D show, I'll make fun of Brian Baird.
From now on, I am your fucking regulator, dude. I'll be on every show now.
Good.
Watching over.
So, anyways, what would the aliens be? I think if anything to do with the aliens, if we have anything to do with aliens, we're like a garden. You know what I mean? Like some aliens came here and they were like, "Hey, look at these!" They had like a jar of spores or something in their hand. They're like, "Hey, look at this! It says here on this label that it survives in that kind of atmosphere. You want to throw these down there and see what happens?" Yeah, sure, why not?
So we're like sea monkeys,
pretty much. And they're just like, "Wow, look at how stupid all these people are. They're all fucking idiots." They're watching me. I know that. That's why I wear tinfoil on my head in a plastic baggie.
Jason?
Christ.
What do you think the aliens would be here for?
Pretty much just to eat us, harvest us, take the resources of our planet, just bleed it dry, and then move on to the next one. I mean, it can't be good.
Maybe they're part of like an advanced Greenpeace society.
Mel Gibson's pretty convincing, all right?
Cease?
Yeah. You know,
59 cent Polar Pop at Circle K.
God, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it would be something like let's put it this way: you're out in the middle of nowhere, right? And you're flying around, and all of a sudden you hear this noise, like shit. You know, like, hey, there's a fucking planet. There's something going on down there, and you like capture some of our fucking radio or whatever, and like, hey, this is like kind of cool. Let's go check it out. And and now they're like talking to the, different countries and whatnot, and it's like let's keep the peace, but keep it under wraps or something. But I don't, if it was something more diabolical, it probably would have happened by now. If they're eating people, I don't think these people that are coming back and saying they're abducted would have all their limbs. They have a big chunk out of their ass or something.
Hey. Put on the sunglasses. Fuck you, crazy motherfucker. I'm not putting those on.
Yeah. Longest fight scene ever in a movie.
Yeah, but it was so good.
How could you beat somebody that
Roddy
much?
Piper and...
Black Bolt, dude.
Yeah, that's...
Coco Beware. No, I don't know who it was.
I know it was... Fuck, he was Spawn. He did the voice for Spawn. Fuck, he's been in every goddamn movie that was good.
Every movie that's ever been created.
Ever been made. He was in Al Pacino's... No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. The sunglasses. Great fucking
They live?
Yeah. Come on.
Is that George Buck Flower?
Awesome.
I don't know.
No, it's shit. I want to say Charlie.
Michael Highlight.
Is that it?
Probably. He knows every fucking thing in the world. So
No.
It
was Keith David Keith.
Yeah, Keith David.
Yeah.
Played Frank.
I always confuse the two of them.
If you've never seen They Live, you owe it to yourself to watch that movie.
Because I always confuse Keith David and David Keith, so...
It's a great movie. I tell you what, I don't know what's going on. You look normal, and as soon as I put these glasses on, you're an acid face.
I came here to do two things. Chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Okay, so, Larry?
They live.
I think it's the same as, what do people on Earth want? I think that there are aliens who would come here and be peaceful and want to start the Federation. And I think there's aliens that would want to come here and eat us.
So gay, dude.
Oh, and I believe there are gay aliens, too. I believe there are heterosexual aliens.
That's what the anal
and
probe
aliens.
is for,
If they went over to Brian's house, they'd become gay.
That's what the anal probe is all about.
They think it's a machine, but it's like, I put the fucking sucks cup hand under your back. You're like, oh, shit.
The name of the empire.
They're like watching us. They're like, look, they reproduce with each other. Oh my
Turn
god!
your head and cough.
What, like in that shitty fucking video where what was that? No, not the actual movie. The movie was pretty good, but what was the fucking TV show they made out of it? Not They Live, but
why can't they be the hot female aliens from the 50s? They go, what is kissing? That kind of thing. Why don't we have more of that?
That's a blowjob.
Right.
Well, there are in V.
Will people think I'm normal if I have no clothes on? Oh yeah, everybody does that.
Yeah, that's good. Go with that.
Yeah, we don't allow our women to wear clothing here on Earth. Oh, okay. So yeah, if you want to blend in.
All right.
Only the slaves wear clothes.
This will be the final. You
have two belly buttons.
This will be the final question of the night, unless you guys have anything else you want to bring. Brian, let's just assume for fun that aliens are on the Earth masking as humans. Who currently do you believe is an alien?
That's somebody that we all know to be like a movie star or a government official or something like that.
You could name your crazy uncle if you had one. I don't care.
Who would be an alien?
Who do you think is an alien
among us?
If aliens are here, who do you think qualifies as being one today? Michael Jackson is dead, so you can't get included.
Damn it! I know they have him. They bronzed him, and now he is standing in front of the White House, which I think would be awesome. That's a pretty good bronze statue of Michael Jackson. No, that is Michael Jackson. Who would be a really fucking hell, man?
And everybody else can think about their answer too. So when I get to you,
this is
I got mine. If you wanted me to just do mine,
yeah. I got mine. Too.
Anderson, who's yours? While Brian tries to think of somebody famous.
I got it in two categories. One as in like friends of ours, George Dalton.
Done.
He's got to be an alien, man.
For people who don't know, George Dalton is this guy that played bass in Don Anderson's bands for 20 years, basically.
Whatever, numerous years.
And George was a cool guy.
Very cool guy.
He and he's a nice guy, and he lived.
But he's from another planet.
He basically lived next door to Tom.
You know what,
Packard.
dude? I totally buy that because look how he used to dress.
And he the thing is though that like George can only do three things.
Right.
Like he can only have like three tasks in his life, like have a job, work on his car, be in a band. And if you were like, well, dude, how come you don't have a girlfriend? Well, see the first three things. He'd have to lose one of those. I don't know why it was with him, but he was just that's how he rolled. So anyway, yeah.
So so I would say George for people we knew,
or Adam.
And then Adams.
Adam was somebody that was possessed by an alien.
Don't start me about Adam.
He was hit with the mind wipe ray, What?
So
I'll kill you.
But celebrity wise, I have your choice of two. There's Emo Phillips. Or
nobody listening to the show knows Emo Phillips.
Actually, well, if you ever seen UHF, actually, now that I think about it, there's three because the other one was going to be Gary Busey, and then the one
Damn it, you just took my fucking idea. I was totally going for Gary.
And the one I was just thinking of just now was Crispin Glover.
Oh yeah, he's all sorts of messed up in the head.
Go ahead, move on before I think of more.
Jason,
Cruise is right up there, man.
Well, if we're going like Brian, you're totally an alien.
If you're going like Brian, you're that's it. It's over.
What? I didn't hear what you said.
Never mind.
Well, see, it's because you're on the phone.
Come on, you can repeat it. Come on, it's fine. Come on.
No, I was just bullshitting, dude. Just ignore me.
Okay. ignore you.
It's easy to ignore me. Just pretend I'm out.
No, it's not. It's not. But
it is. Push through it.
Yes, Brian for one. Gary Busey would be another. And then I would like to say Cyndi Lauper. Definitely.
No, she's old, dude. If you're an alien, you're not allowed to age. It's like against the rules.
Or you just got to be messed up looking from the very beginning.
Theory there.
Cease?
I was gonna say Tom Cruise because he's always got that fucked up smile on his face. Jumping off of couches and shit. You're like, what, dude? Really?
Like, what
Scientology, you know?
Right.
Larry?
Is that it?
I think Ryan Seacrest, just because there has to be some sort of like mind control ray or ability for him to like still have a career, because I can't figure out where it comes from.
Possibly, you know what? Ryan Seacrest taking the job from Dick Clark. Dick Clark could be an alien. Have you seen him lately? He might.
Yeah,
be
that's true. We did establish aliens can't age. So,
but I mean, Dick Clark, he doesn't look like he. You know, that dude never looks like he aged.
Okay, I've got one, and this is my vote for who would be the scariest person that is well known. That if we found out this person was an alien, we would just shit our pants. Would be Christopher Walken. Would that?
No, he's too cool. He'll be leading the resistance for us.
No, he wouldn't, dude.
Man, we got to get over this hill. The aliens are over there,
dude. You come on. Think of him as the alien, but like in like True Romance, where he was the mafia guy, but turn that into fucking like he's an alien. Tell me that wouldn't just be like, oh, that's not cool.
Here's the thing, General Ixnamigo, you came here to Earth to try and conquer us. Well, I'm not going to have it. Not now. Not ever.
That's pretty good.
But first, before we do anything, before we go any further, there's just one thing we have to do, and that's dance. Hit the music, baby. Okay, go on.
Get some cowbell.
I need more cowbell.
I mean, if you're gonna go with him, you'd might as well just go with William Shatner, because every other guy that was on Star Trek is like old and falling apart.
What is this all about?
And Shatner's still doing like commercials.
Yeah, but dude,
he's doing barrel rolls.
He doesn't look like himself anymore.
That's because his outer like exo skin that they gave him is definitely worn out.
They hadn't perfected that yet when they planted him here 40 years ago.
It's starting to suck up moisture and swell.
His internal robotic insides are still functioning perfectly, because the guy's like doing barrel rolls and climbing through ropes and shit. I mean, the guy is crazy.
For me,
I think his wife found out about it too, and he drowned her in the pool. That whole thing.
Oh, that's not cool.
His beautiful wife.
Because he's listening.
911 call.
Yeah, because he's listening and he's upset. Come on, Bill doesn't even own a computer.
What are you
He's
doing?
still writing out Star Trek books,
What's the matter with you geeks? Remember that one?
My vote goes for Kate Blanchett. Kate Blanchett.
That was the best.
She looks like a fucking alien. Kate Blanchett.
Oh, dude, you just want to put her in there so she gets in the fucking...
Because her skin looks plastic, and she's like 80 years old, and she still looks like the same. Anyway. All right, so that's basically it. Next week we're going to be...
80% of Sarasota, I'll tell you that. So there's like a whole alien force down here.
Is that really it, or do we have...
I'm like in, right inside the middle of it.
It's all done. Donnie's starting to cry. Oh.
Is that all there?
No, it's just like I was going to tell a story about being in Oklahoma.
Oh, no, man. Go on. If you got stories, you can bring it. That's cool. I just, I don't know what you guys have, but...
Keep dancing.
Go ahead,
No, I
Donnie.
was just going to say...
Tell your story.
Well, everybody knows Kevin Rom and I lived in Oklahoma, and all this dude did while he was there, all he did was drink. So we were so bored.
Heroin.
We were so bored in that place that he got drunk one night, and he was like, "Dude," he looks over at me. He's like, "Dude, I am so fucking bored." And I was like, "Right?" And he goes, I seriously wish aliens would come down here right now and pick me up, because that would be something to do." And I was like, okay, that's funny. So he walked out on the balcony and started screaming, "Aliens! Please come get me!" And it was just like, I'm like, dude, you can't be doing that. He's like, all right, not a problem. So he put his shoes on and walked out into the middle of the field and laid down and was like, "I'm just laying here. Come get me."
You would have shit if you went out there, like a moment later, he's gone.
What are you guys drinking?
He was just drinking beers. We didn't have much money.
Moonshine.
We didn't have, Oklahoma moonshine. Or the one time, I don't know.
Fuel.
Or the one time when we lived in Seville, when there was this one night, and my ex-wife was on the toilet, and all of a sudden I hear her call me. It's like 2:00 in the morning. All I hear is her calling me. She's like, "Look, we were wasted, stone cold wasted," and she's like, "Look, come in here." And I come running in the bathroom and she's like taking a dump or whatever. And she's like, "Look right there in the sky. There's a
it's an unidentified floating object in the toilet."
Right. Captain's log.
Nice.
That old joke.
We were both sitting there staring into nothing, like out in I'm like looking out into the sky. I'm like, I don't see it. She's like trying to point it out. She's like, go get the video camera. I'm like, what? I mean, there's a video somewhere of like pitch darkness. Like a picture of the moon, and like the two of us whispering, all wasted, just being like, "Yeah, right there, it's moving. It didn't move. It's moving now. It's moving. What the hell?" So never seen a real one though. That's all I got. I figured I'd intersperse that throughout the show. But
my ex-girlfriend used to go on. She used to go on crazy trips out in the. Well, she still goes on crazy trips everywhere, but she used to go out into the desert and shit. And she said she's seen all kinds of. She's described things to me.
She's done everything.
And, yeah, I know, and it's like I don't even know how to accept it. You know, you're just like, did you really? I mean, I don't know. I mean,
she's done everything. You name it. It's amazing.
She hasn't been into space yet, but that's about.
I'm sure it's coming.
She's not dead yet either. So
right, it could happen because
I have a picture of her in a fucking spacesuit, fucking
waving,
posing.
Yeah, was it Woody Allen had that "Play It Again, Sam" or something, or maybe it was Andy Hall.
Yeah, that was a great.
Where he was imagining his ex-wife like with a motorcycle, like with a guy driving off into the mountains, and then having sex in the trees or something like that, talking about how wonderful it was. And he was just sitting in New York.
My fucking ex-wife was fucking a Nazi.
Yeah, it was funny. Yeah, that's how it was.
That's a great fucking video, dude. It's so like nobody even really knows about it and shit today, but it's like everybody I've heard show that movie just started crying. It's just great. He's sitting there when he meets the girl for the first time and he's all nervous and shit, and he just starts fucking up really bad.
Yeah, those two movies are great, and so is Take the Money and Run. That's a good one too. All right, so that's basically it. Does anybody else got anything else? Any comments? Brian, what's your final comment on UFOs and aliens?
As I said, I don't believe that they exist, but just because I don't believe that they don't exist doesn't mean that they don't. And, I mean, we've been inundated with, like, friendly aliens, blue-eyed aliens, green aliens, blue aliens, attacking aliens, conquering aliens, rebel against the aliens, aliens fighting aliens. And, as far as I'm concerned, we should just purge them if they ever came here. Just flat out, just... Hello, we come in. They just don't even let them get it out of their mouth. They shoot them straight in the face, and that'll set the tone for anybody else who wants to come to Earth and touch.
I think we should give them free health care. Oh, no.
We come in pieces, bitch.
Anderson?
What?
What's your final wrap-up on aliens?
Dude, they're out there, and they're going to get you, and they're going to eat your brain. Plain and simple, straight up, in your face. No, they're out there. I mean, I think you gotta think something's out there because we're not the only galaxy. We're not the only fucking set of planets, and we're not.
Let's talk locally, dude.
But I'm just saying. I mean, there's thousands upon like that theory you were talking about. How there was like a Big Bang. There was the Big Bang, and then there was another one that like happened like right next to it or whatever. And it could be just a process, and we could be on the outskirts of like the very beginning one, which was like done billions, zillion, trillion years, billions of years ago. You know what I mean? Like we don't even know. So they're so far advanced that they're like coming out here and just like, hey, look at this. Here's one of those new plants that just exploded. You know what I mean? You don't know. I don't know. You would think that if they were, though, we would know, but
we don't.
I don't.
Yeah, but come on, we're not that. We're not that intelligent either, though. I mean, we're saying, yeah, we know. I mean, we can't. Half the time, we can't. What was that guy? Was Steve Fawcett crashed his little biplane somewhere, and they didn't find that shit for like half a year.
Right.
And they got radar, and they got satellites, and they got search teams, and they can't find that guy's fucking plane, and some hikers found it. We're not as advanced as everybody likes to think we are. I mean,
they just didn't give a shit.
We make a
yeah,
but
really cares.
but whole planes blow up and we're not even sure why.
If it was the president's plane, they would have found it.
Everything is like recreated. Like, well, this is what we think happened. A piece of styrofoam blew the space shuttle up. We don't know. They sit around and they make shit up and tell you, well, that's what happened. That's it.
I do that at work all the time. How'd you get it to work? Really, all I did was kick it, but I'm like, yeah, the fucking wire was loose.
That's probably all it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Hocus pocus.
A government's not omnipotent, though. They don't necessarily know anything. You know, they just find planets or moons all the time around Saturn and shit. They're like, hey, we just found another moon. You know, you think, well, didn't you already know that was there? I mean, we went to the moon. We had guys walking on the moon, driving cars around, and nobody said, hey, maybe we should test for water. So now we just shot a bullet into the moon.
They were just lucky that they were able to do that shit, you know?
Lucky?
I mean, come on.
Jesus Christ, they were there!
Dude, that's all we had to do back then was drive cars. We weren't about fucking drilling into no goddamn... Well, let's drill to the moon and see what happens.
They flew a fucking car there, man. They could have flown a drill.
Some of the fucking shit that they used to talk about back then, okay? They still thought that if aliens were going to come, they were going to come from Mars or Venus. They had no frickin' clue.
We got nothing. I mean, like, when it comes to figuring shit out, we fired a bullet into the moon, blasted some rocks into the space, and examined it with spectrometers and shit to find if there's water there. What a waste!
Couldn't do that back then.
What a waste of fucking money this shit is.
The guy on George North the other night said they found water on the moon.
Yeah, but who cares? What are we gonna do with it? Why do we gotta go do it? We've done the space race for like forever. Let the Chinese go bankrupt doing it. All right, let them go and figure it out.
Because they don't want to do it.
Because they'll do better at it anyways.
They do want to do it. Let them go. We can steal their technology for once. Fuck, we pay for everything. They got that goddamn space station up there. They don't even know what to do with it. I mean, you guys don't read the news as much as I do, but they're like, well, we built it, and now we're going to stop funding it. Because they're like, well, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this now? We're going to retire the space shuttle. And what?
Where are we going to go? I don't know.
What are we going to do?
Want to go? I don't know.
And they're like, well, they get valuable science from it. Yeah, to find out if like ostriches can breed in fucking deep space and shit. It's useless. It's such a waste of fucking money. And so I don't. I would like to see another country do it for a while. The Russians went broke doing it.
The Japanese do it, man.
Yeah, let the Chinese and the Japanese and the Indians and everybody just go fucking broke doing it. I don't want us to do it. We're not going to go.
They ended up going to the right places, and they ended up making all the money off the stupid shit.
What money are you going to get?
The Chinese will do something that,
hey!
Gives us an unlimited source of power or something.
From the moon.
And some dude at NASA's just going to, turn to the guy next to him. The fuck did we think of that?
Yeah, the moon. Yeah, the big pile of dirt.
We wouldn't have listened to Kevin Baird back in fucking 2000.
They should listen to me. You know why? Because we'll be a nice rich country loaning them money. Instead of the other way around, because we waste our money firing fucking rocks into the moon to see if there's water up there.
Well, that ain't even... Did you see the test rocket we sent up? It was just a fucking rocket just to see if the fucking engine would work.
I know! It's ridiculous!
God damn, they just wasted fucking $10 billion.
Yeah. Seriously, that was the most efficient test you guys could design.
Oh, my God, dude.
It's just a huge waste of money.
Considering that they let Packard fucking work there, there's got to be nothing more than like a bunch of stoners just trying to hack out ways to get shit done so they can earn their keep. But come on.
But see, the crazy thing is we already had all these fucking rockets. We built all this shit to go there. We landed there. We drove around. We built roads and shit. We played golf on the moon.
Process.
And then we said, they're not going to do it for a while. And then we come back and they're like, well, we need more money so we can do it again. Fuck you. We were already there.
Yeah, do something else, asshole.
It just pisses me off. So then they're like, well, it's a launching pad so we can get to Mars. For what? What are we going to do on Mars? There's nothing there.
So we can fire a bullet at Mars and see if there's water there.
Well, at least sandcastle with the red sand.
At least in the science fiction movies, right? They're always like, well, they're mining cobalt 49 or something on the planet. So, okay, if we're going to go there,
shit that nobody's ever heard of.
Right, but if we're going to go
for fossil fuels,
if we're going to go there to get something, great, I'm all for that. But if we're just going to go there to drive like RC race cars around, and shit, then I don't want any part of it.
Yeah, they're gonna go up there and the whole thing's gonna be diamond, so the fucking diamonds will be worthless now.
It's just so scientists can write their papers and
discover something that just annihilates all of our fucking whatchamacallit, like.
It's all gold, Yeah,
so it just like they destroy our fucking like monetary value. Just by being around it, like we also everything that we had was anything that was like money or something like that it's gone.
It's just nuts.
It's a planet of gold. You just got to wipe off the red shit.
Yeah.
Fuck. What are we gonna do now? Fuck.
That's all we're getting, dude, is a bunch of the.
Then all of a sudden, it's like the alien actually exists.
All of the scientists are getting together. They're building their new race on the other planet where they're gonna decide everything, and then none of us are ever gonna get. Not that we'd live to see it, but we'd never be able to go. Right? Only the elite that we're paying for to go over there and conduct science on the fucking
never
planet.
Get to hear about.
Right. Well, of course, because it's like anything. Well, we've built that fucking ridiculous space station in space, and has it trickled down to you or I? No.
No, it trickled into the Pacific Ocean. Last I heard.
Oh, that? Yeah. I mean,
piecemeal. Oops. Yeah. Oops.
They still point to the stuff they built.
There, it's like there's no rust. Okay,
sorry about that.
Rust. Technically, it really can't get old because there's no real external forces working on it. Except for it's in a vacuum, which last I heard, anything in a vacuum could pretty much last forever. And it's like, well, it's really old, so it's going to crash into the ocean. It's just like you guys just don't really feel like paying for this anymore, right?
Well, no, what they got. See, all these space things that they got up there, dude. They all run on motorized gyroscopes. These gyroscopes that spin. That's how they stay in orbit, because that's how they figure out where they're at.
They're all against the wall.
Well, and they're
at fucking Cedar Point.
Right. They're mechanical, and they fail. And then when they fail, that's when they throw them out of orbit. But the thing is it's like every time you hear about what has NASA done and stuff, they point to shit that they built during the '60s, like Teflon, which is now poisonous, and rechargeable batteries that somebody would have come up with eventually. And
Tang.
Yeah, Tang. Right. I mean, it's like
Tang's the best drink ever made.
I'm all
that stuff was good.
I'm all for space travel and stuff. If it made
space ice cream, we didn't like the space ice cream.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah,
no, that stuff's nasty.
If they have a purpose,
blank check from me because they gave us astronaut ice cream.
Tasted like a dry stick of butter.
Satellites and things like that have been great. They've been useful. Okay, but this this outside Earth's sphere of influence or whatever is just getting ridiculous to me. It just seems like a huge money waste. But whatever, I'm done. I had to
astronaut ice cream, man.
Everybody had to have a Kevin rant, so there you go. My rant
makes it worth it.
Program.
Does indeed.
That's it. We got sports at 10. So you guys will have 9 minutes for Don and Don.
Awesome.
No amnesty for aliens.
Minus 9 minutes and counting.
There's no farewell on this show, so that's it. Good night.
Fuck you and you alien bullshit.
Yeah. So anybody who wants to stick around can stick around.
Stick around.